Hey, how you guys doing? This is producer from Brothers Comics. Welcome to the Marvel Hacks new season reboot, y'all. It's episode, I guess, one, maybe last one was zero, as we are on the road to the Thunderbolts. A couple weeks ago, Brother Beavis and I talked about X-Men Onslaught and Heroes Reborn and kind of Heroes Return and the absolute shittiness of 90s comic books. Tonight, we actually get to the Thunderbolts from 1997, and we'll talk about that in a minute. On the line tonight, that's Brother Beavis. What's happening, man?
Hey, what's up, y'all? I think we
Yeah,
might
if
have
you're
stumbled on
on, if you,
a book we may not hate.
yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, that sounds maybe right. Also, Hutch, you missed all this 90s talk, man. And you got more Image comic books than he and I both probably combined from that era. It's Big Hutch. What's happening, man?
Hello.
Hello, all you happy people. It's nice. So yeah, so we're gonna talk about issue number one of Thunderbolts tonight, coming out of X-Men Onslaught. A couple topics about, kind of the heroes and all that. But I do have a story to tell before we totally get started here. So I was in online contact with Kurt Busiek, the writer of this book.
No big
and
deal.
For yeah, no big deal.
Famous
Yeah.
artist.
Yeah, it's famous writer, blah 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 blah. So I'd asked him, obviously, I was like, we're reviewing this book. I'd like to talk to you about it. He's like, I'm really not good at podcasts or anything like that, but you guys just go for it. And if you have like a question here or there, just kind of like send it to me or whatever, and I could try to answer it or whatever. So like, that's kind of where we are right now. I'd send him a question about one thing that's in here, and I'll answer it as we start to go over the book, but we'll have some kind of input there from Kurt Busiek. And then set up an interview I have with Mark Bagley at Dragon Con next weekend. So we'll kind of get the perspective of the two dudes that are on this book that we remember enjoying. And as Brother Beavis said in his intro, let's continue to see if we can shoot holes in this ain't our childhood though, Brother Beavis.
No, this is our grown-ass man period.
Yeah, this is early
Grown-ass man
adulthood.
child.
And this
Yeah, man.
These are the
So
comic
they should have
books
never
hide
gave
from
y'all
the wife.
money.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta hide
Yeah.
from the wife. You spending how much on what?
Yeah, that's not unentirely true at the time. All right, so let's go. Issue number one. We are recapping the news, y'all. I love this part here. It's the loss of the real heroes. Ouch. Our real heroes are gone after Onslaught. It's reporter Megan McLean, y'all. And she's reported in the aftermath of a Sentinel attack. It took me a reread to go back and where it said like this was something that Onslaught had inflicted upon this little neighborhood. So that's kind of where this is. We can do it there. The cover for Bagley there, that's a pretty sweet cover. Classic kind of late 90s cover too.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because like he's not like the Jim Lee clone that we see a lot of at this point, but it's still kind of that clean style that's true to the classic designs, but it's like got enough sort of roughness to it that it doesn't, roughness and dynamic to it. So yeah, he's got a good style.
He's a I mean, talk about an underrated artist, probably now, then, and forever. He's somebody that can get, automatically or immediately recognize his style, but he's also, unlike many of the others, somebody who can get a book out on time. You don't hear those stories about him missing deadlines for books. So yeah, that's a great bit. All right. And so then we get this abduction. It's going to be terrible. I don't know if I should even continue going. It's Hallie Takayama or Takahama. She gets kidnapped I keep wanting to say Takamika Noshu because that name is in my head from wrestling. So I'm going to try to not do that. But yes, she gets kidnapped by a mass force in there. She had seen her parents get killed in this bit. I had totally forgotten about this character moving forward. She's 15 years old. Her parents got killed in the attack. She's been scavenging for scrapes and whatever in the streets, and then she winds up getting kidnapped. And you won't really hear much about her until much later on.
We got our own Jubilee, y'all.
Yeah, we got our Jubilee. Asian too. Yeah. And And then as Megan McLaren is telling her story, we get a shout out of this news story about all of these freaking roll call, low level freaking villains. Let's shout them. Blastar. Really? Blastar? Come on.
Blastar is a.
That's one of your boys, Hutch.
Yeah, yeah. Blastar is a freaking superstar compared to some of these other chrome pubs.
Lava Man.
Oh yeah, geez.
Look, I didn't even know the Frightful Four was a thing. Claw, Hydro Man. Well, I didn't know. Not really. The name group? No, I did not know the Frightful Four was a thing. Hush, this the Matrix. It's the Matrix too, y'all. Titania makes an appearance in this book we're reading, and She-Hulk. It's the Matrix. TV. Yeah, like awful. Claw is awful. That design for Claw is just absolutely terrible. Good Lord.
I like how he's got like the jean shorts built into his costume.
He's a Florida fan, a Florida hater.
Come on. Yes, that's awful. And I mean Hydro. Seriously,
the Wizard.
Like,
don't forget the Wizard. Easily the sorriest person on this page.
And
God, the Wizard is. Oof,
we needed the Fantastic Four and the Avengers to defeat these cats. Come on, man. These is low level Spider-Man folks. Easy. And yeah, it's just bad. I said, we've lost our best protection, I think is the word from the book. And then we get to the Masters of Evil shout out. Okay, my note in here says they were really foreshadowing this shit in a kind of, early internet era here. Like, I'm reading this book and I'm like, how the hell did I not know this going by the time we got to the end? Come on. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Where were we at this time that we couldn't figure this out? Or maybe y'all did. I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rumors were out there, but I don't even know how one got rumors back then because a Wizard wouldn't have spoiled it. And that was about the only place you could read anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do they have? They have at least 3, spoiler alert, they have at least 3 of them on here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's some, the stand-in Yellow Jacket. Who's that? The killer? Who's the shark dude? The killer shark?
Yeah, Killer Shark.
Absorbing Man. Who's the dude with the half lightning mask? Black Lightning? I don't.
Black Lightning.
Black costume Lightning? I don't even know half these people.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mr. Hyde.
That's Hutch's job, man. He knows all these freaking
I was
rank
like,
dudes.
damn, I know the DC is Bolt, but I don't know who the hell this mother blanker is.
Yeah. Well, we get our racist cops show up too here. He's like, all we got left are teenagers and niggers. I mean, mutants. Not that there's any people, not the kind of people that make you feel safe. Yipes. Yeah, this is what's left, and then when they cut out, I guess the producer of this show was watching Megan McLaren's thing. He's like, God damn, when you kind of harsh, that seemed like a little bit much. And she's like, if the people are scared, so we're setting up our entry to, kind of see some villains here or a fight. But yes, it's not a good group. And so our first group of villains that make an appearance in this book are the Rat Pack. Hutch, Sinatra got a problem here. They need to stew. What's going on?
It's just I don't even know what to say. It's just a bunch of just scrub.
Had y'all ever heard of the Rat Pack before this?
No.
I feel like they were created for this.
Yeah, I never heard of them.
And they apparently don't have a
bio
Wikipedia page.
No. A reason to exist.
No, I mean, I think this is like a recurring theme of like their rogues gallery is inherently limited. So a lot of made up or very corner case people who you got to pick somebody who wasn't in the Masters of Evil, which automatically like cuts your roster down. So
he could, because they don't get sniffed out. They're stealing the rubble. They're stealing shit from the rubble of the neighborhoods of these types of things going on. And then
this is like a spoiler for for Spider-Man Homecoming, right? I mean, this was what they had the like not a spoiler,
Oh,
but
yeah.
the Vultures boys were all like
Yeah,
collecting
but
this
they were
alien
like-
technology.
collecting, yeah.
I couldn't get, after seeing Citizen V all these times, I couldn't get what's that shit that's in The Boys?
Mm,
Is it Z? What do they have that gives them their powers or whatever? Compound V.
mm.
Yeah, that I couldn't get that out of my head. Like every time I saw it, I don't know what it is. You still need to go watch season 3, brother. People. All right, the V is for victory. That's what it stands for on the Zach Up. He's like, just you against us? Come on. And then we get the shout out, the fly shot of all of the Thunderbolts there. Yeah. Okay. So, look, I mean, the designs are fine enough, but it just seems kind of hokey and cheesy. Come on, y'all. Help me out.
Well, I think that's by design, right?
Yeah, that is by design. This
Okay. You
this
think
this
okay.
group is straight up Limburger. Geez, I mean, right? It's fromage, man. Straight up
all
fromage.
cheese. Yeah.
Because it's all over the top, heroic and flashy
Right.
to perpetuate the lie. So it's by design. It's not.
Right.
Atlas, Songbird, Mach 1, Meteorite. Who did I miss? I think I missed the other
Techno.
white dude.
Yeah,
Techno. Yeah. This super imagey too, by the way, like in design and power sets, even though they're
the
kind of whatever.
pocket count's pretty low though.
Yeah, that's fine. The boot windows are also small.
Got a lot of accessories. Everybody's covered. Atlas is probably maybe the most egregious. He's got shoulder pads. So he probably doesn't
Yes.
need.
Well, funny you should say that. I'm gonna jump right ahead to my thing. So the Rat Pack gets dispatched pretty quickly. You would think so. And then somebody's recording the new heroines on a camera, not a phone, y'all. This is 1997, and the Rat Pack escapes through mouse holes. I think is what it was called. Yes, mouse holes. So okay. Yeah. And Atlas, he tries to do the shrink down thing to find them, but it wasn't really gonna work out. Okay, my note here says, side road topic. How y'all feel about giant growing ass heroes? Because I fucking hate them. Like every single one of them. Like once they've already gone big once, it's over. Like it is over. You can't get that back. So once they go big, and then that's it. That's just giant heroes to the floor.
What are we talking about again?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yes, giant growing heroes from Goliath to Atlas to Ant-Man to Black Goliath.
That's their thing. I mean, what are you gonna take that away? You go from
Chief.
6 feet to 60 feet.
Well, so I think Hutch can back me up on this. I think every gaming system that has a growth mechanic, like Champions or anything, like it sucks. It's like because you get stronger, you get easier to hit, and you don't necessarily get tougher.
Right.
But you have to you have to get proportionally larger to get proportionally stronger. So you really do have to be huge before you can even best Spider-Man with his incredible strength or whatever, or amazing strength. So the numbers, like anyone who's ever had to codify this would agree that growing powers do suck.
Right.
Makes you a larger target, and you're not as strong as anybody else.
Unless you're a dragon. Everybody else gets their ass bright.
And the father of all this, Hank Pym, right? Like his initial run was like it was all like he had to grow to get any sense of adequacy, but he was like never as strong as Hulk or Thor.
Right.
And so then he just had to be.
And he still got his ass beat first. He was the first to go down anyway still.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
taken
just
out
big.
by gas.
Yeah, awful. Yeah, it's like, the novelty wears off really, really quick. Anyway, so the Rat Pack escapes. We've made our presence known, Citizen V says, and they go to their headquarters. They're in an abandoned theater. It's all beat up. People got complaints and beef about it as they're kind of going through this bit. But okay. So did y'all pick this up? So Songbird is essentially Rogue, right? And I'm not just talking about the hair, but like the kind of the design and the character, missing just the sugars, y'all. I mean,
she's different kind of Southern, right?
That?
She's more like a Tennessee Southern than a Louisiana Southern.
South. Yeah, are we even missing that part? I think I'm almost sure that too.
And her and Mach 1 are gonna be
Tight.
some shenanigans later.
Tight.
We get Meteorite,
I hate her.
kind of watching it. Yeah, what was her
Moonstone.
Moonstone? Yeah.
I hate her fucking guts.
What did Moonstone ever do to you?
Really?
Exist.
Okay.
Yeah, just that bug eye costume, and
She was the only truly powerful one in this group.
She's powerful with a mother blanker, and she knows it. And she spends her whole career just undermining Citizen B. And from what I remember, but yeah, that's fine.
So you're right about like Rogue being all pining over the relationships, but hers is like she's been codependent with all these other idiots, and so she falls right back into that. So a lot of her story arc is sort of standing on her own.
She's Carly Simon. I mean,
didn't some of these sort of characters make it into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Was that the case, or maybe?
So Angar the Screamer, who was one of her boyfriends, was on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that might be.
She's been around.
I think that might be it.
She got passed around in the books.
You fuck around and have to have all your boyfriends got to have screaming powers too.
She might be Taylor Swift.
Oh man, Swifties don't need to be flooding this freaking podcast. All right, so so they're in there, and we get all the team building and who can be trusted and who can't be trusted, and a lot of freaking also hints that I clearly didn't get fucking 20 some odd years ago. And then Techno, he has a goofy ass robot. I have my second topic here, that he's not supposed to have in the building. I'm assuming because it could be traced or something. I have really no idea why Moonstone is like, hey, don't fuck with this robot in here.
I think the line is they're supposed to be poor because they're not sponsored. They're not supposed to have nice things. So they're exploiting the down on the luck hero perspective to win over the populace.
Okay.
And,
well, my note.
Did y'all mention that the fix is from Dayton, Ohio?
Not yet.
Oh,
not yet. So,
right.
And maybe I didn't know that, so you're gonna throw it up anyway. But okay, so my second side brother topic here. Okay, so I'm looking at this fucking robot and it's serving drinks or whatever. Why'd that robot remind me of that Biggie dude from Buck Rogers? Because I watch what's that old ass TV station that they have on every cable system now?
Is it Me TV or something like that?
Me TV, yes. Yeah. So I was flipping through that shit on Sunday, and Buck Rogers was on.
Why are you trying to kill your childhood?
I was like,
oh my lord,
like this show, man. I was like, damn, this used to be my jam. If I made it 5 minutes, it was a lot. I was like, okay, so Aaron Gray is fine. But the rest of this shit sucks.
The lead villain woman was awesome. She was
yeah. But the rest of it, Biggie. Like, that was appointment watching television for our youth. And I couldn't get 5 minutes, man. And it ain't the special effects. That wasn't the reason that it was bad. It's just bad. It's just bad. Help me out, y'all.
Watching Battlestar Galactica 40 years later is also ain't great.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, but yeah.
I didn't have cable. I couldn't watch it.
That was on regular TV.
There's lies. That was on regular syndication.
Right,
man.
That was on like some Channel 19 or something. We weren't getting
NBC or something.
No.
Yeah.
That was a Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, morning type of situation. Buck Rogers was on all the time. Regular.
Was the canteen he wore on his chest, was that a separate thing or was that part of him? Twiggy, the robot. Right? And you have like a thing he wore on it. He was the original Flavor Flav.
Right.
Like, was that a separate thing?
Yeah. I think he's always had that shit.
Biggie.
Right. That was the other computer or something thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like their three.
My research is showing me Gary Coleman was on at least once, or maybe they were on. Like, okay.
I think he was one time.
On the Black Man in Space. Yeah, it's just not good. Like it's just not good. I was like, man, Aaron Gray is fine. Whew, holy crap. Still fine. And she will be at DragonCon this coming weekend, but as well as freaking Buck Rogers too, because they're always there.
Yeah, and Gerard.
For some reason I thought he had given it up, but he hadn't. Just his career. So it's just not good. Me TV, awful, and just pretty much everything that's on there, you turn it on. I mean, that I'd ever watched fucking
Wonder Woman.
Oh no, like Opie Cunningham, whatever that show is, and
Happy
all that
Days?
stuff. I know, no, Opie Cunningham.
Opie Cunningham is the freaking Andy Griffith.
Yeah, that's the one.
I used to hate watch Lost in Space because that would be on like Sundays when there was absolutely nothing else to do. And they would just have it on. I'm like, this show is so awful. I hate it so much. And I would just sit there and watch it.
Let me watch it for hours.
Why do I hate myself so much?
Yeah, that's just bad. So yeah, Buck Rogers does not have any rewatchability 40 years later. All right. So okay, yeah, my note says he can't have that vacuum cleaner robot in there, and whatchamacallit kills it. So the media does show up to their headquarters, and they got all kinds of questions, y'all. And we have no party affiliations. We're volunteers. We could never replace the real heroes. We are just doing this, and but more importantly, I was like, ooh, they need a PR person because they about to let all the secrets slip out. When they're answering the questions. I mean, holy cow, as you can tell, villains never get interviewed because they're like, oh, this is why we never talk to the media, y'all. It's all
I've been
fake
waiting
news.
to cut this promo. I've been wrestling on YouTube. I finally get to cut this promo.
Yeah, my God. I mean, they are awful. Where is their PR person? It's just bad. But as they're fucking up their freaking PR, a situation occurs, bum, 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 and it's Sinatra, and them again, man. Who is the original Rat Pack? Sinatra, and then I know the black dude, Sammy Davis Jr. Who was the other ones? There's had to be two more, right?
Bobby Fischer.
Dean Martin, and Bobby Fischer. Yeah, Dean Martin, Bobby Fischer. Okay,
somebody Fisher for sure, but yeah.
Okay, so we as our youth got the Brat Pack, which was Emilio Estevez, Charlie, no.
Charlie,
Rob Lowe. No, Rob
Lowe, yeah.
Emilio Estevez.
Not Hallie
exactly.
Sheen. Hallie Sheen?
Y'all are turning into people's moms. Like, who was that and what? Who were they married to?
Oh, God, I'm just saying that also sucked. Like, it's not like this thing that they always try to give people, like, oh, this is going to be this group of people. And, man, they fuck the Rat Pack and the Brat Pack. That's what I'm saying.
The original Rat Pack was all right. But this shit. Yeah.
Come on, son.
What are you talking about? It's Sammy Davis. Dean Martin.
How many Sinatra albums you got? Exactly.
No, but shit, because they're fucking 200 years older than me. But you know they names.
That's fair. All right. Excuse me. So, the mayor of New York City, whoever that is at the time, has a representative, and that person is like, "Oh, hey, these new heroes are here. I want them working for us," and that's what's going to happen. So now, what's going on with this new event here? Now that they've gotten rid of the Rat Pack, what's going to happen? Marvel has a phone. I assure you that somebody calls with the creator, like, hey, you need your team to get over or your hero to get over? Oh, I know exactly who you need to put in that book. We've run them for years on this podcast because nobody could get somebody over like these folks. We've seen Jean Grey beat all of them up. We've seen the Avengers beat them all up. We've seen Thor beat them all up with one hand on you and smack them all around in Secret Wars. The Wrecking Crew, y'all. Woo!
The original Sunday Night Superstars.
There has to be a number that they're like, oh, you need somebody to get over? Bet. Call the Wrecking Crew.
Yep.
Like, this is awful. Matrix again. Well, allegedly, they're going to pop up on She-Hulk as well. Allegedly.
Did I mention I was reading Defenders for no good reason? Because I never really read it. And I think I stumbled upon their origin story. I think they get introduced in the Defenders. Because it was talking about how they were broke out of jail and split the powers of the Wrecking Crew bar or whatever.
All right.
Yeah.
The guy struck by lightning or something, right?
Yeah, they lost that fight too.
Had they won a fight? I mean, beating up on She-Hulk in the Secret Wars might be their only dub.
That'd be about their only dub, yeah, for real.
Yes, they won.
And that was a shared dub.
Yeah, I mean, that's awful. And again, they may get a little bit of a run here. I mean, even on the Earth's Mightiest Heroes, they got beat all to be damned up in that too. I mean, it's just everywhere. Like I remember when we reviewed that Jean Grey book and she beat their ass. It was awful.
And I think the black dude, a doctor? Yeah,
he's a doctor. Well, I got a note in here about Thunderball because he speaks. Because in previous books, he didn't. We talked about he didn't get a chance to talk, and he still had an afro in the mid to late 80s. It looks like they fixed his hair finally. He got there, and you know, no,
not yet.
We're a little early for that. But like he actually gets a chance to speak in this book, and it's he has G's on his words. No slang. That's freaking
that's progress.
I guess that's the Juggernaut dude. But that's the Juggernaut dude. That sounds like fucking. It's written like Boomhauser on fucking King of the Hill.
All right, Frail, but who's got you?
Okay, boy, I take mine, run them down.
All right.
It's like, oh man, how the hell am I reading this?
The one that bothers me the most is Pile Driver because he's just like he has big hands. I guess.
So. Yeah, and then the dude with the crowbar, you would think would be the best of the bunch of them, and he'd be getting hands too.
You would think that if you hadn't read the Defenders and knew from their origin story that he was originally very powerful enough to take on Thor, but he split the power between the four of them so they would help him break out of jail.
Oh, origins, right? Wow. Okay. Well, Mach 1 and Rogue continue their little whatever that's going on.
She's got a name. She's got a name.
Come on, man. So they're fighting there. It's a comic book fight, y'all. Onomatopoeia all over the place. Yes, and the Statue of Liberty gets attacked and beat up, and not in just the the political way anymore. It's getting beat up seriously here. And and the wrecking crew's like, we'll freaking destroy the freaking Lady Liberty or whatever.
Why don't it out on the statue?
I can't remember the one was just like, well, fuck it, shit, let them take it out. I don't care. And Citizen V is like, no, citizens, it stands for more than that. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
shut the hell up.
Man, come on. So yeah, it's they're gonna bring down the whole statue. So anyway, it gets down to more fighting, and everybody obviously gets knocked out with the last one standing being Bulldozer.
They get gas pods in their mouth.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why she put them in there, and then they put the bubble around there.
Yep.
And it looks like Atlas wanted to commit a hate crime on Bulldozer there.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
Atlas ain't too bright.
He gave him the old Juggernaut cross country punch.
Yeah. It's this. Atlas might have some thoughts. So the Thunderbolts.
You don't expect heroes to act like that.
Yeah. Thunderbolts are victorious. Hurrah! That's basically where it is. And Dallas Reardon shows up. He's like, hey, she's the representative. And then it's cracked me up. It was like Atlas was like on bone. Like he's like, I know we just fought this battle. Right now there's a battle in my pants. Because I mean, could you imagine? I was like, come on, bruh. Yeah, and then they go back and clean up the freaking Statue of Liberty and put it back together. I was like, this is super hate. This is I hate to bring his name up, but this is some Trump-handed shit. Like protect the symbols, and we can get people to be on our side. Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
T-shirts, T-shirts and plushies available.
Yeah, it's awful. Look, Hutch, you gonna pull up his Marvel card? Which version of the Marvel card is Atlas there? He had to be fighting. I didn't look at it when you pulled it up. If you're on YouTube,
he's fighting more than good.
Excellent. Come on. I know he sucks because he's. Think of man, you're gonna get me started on all the people that transform like this. They all suck.
Excellent.
Sasquatch, Colossus, anybody that transforms, man, to a big dude, they suck. So what's he
Yeah,
fighting at?
excellent.
Good agility, so hit him all day.
All right.
Yep. Strength got to be probably monstrous when he gets
Incredible.
Incredible to start with. Yeah.
Incredible to start. Come
Yeah.
on. And was he when he goes big?
He gets to unearthly when he gets to 60 feet. Supposedly.
Monstrous
Really?
endurance. So he's like Wonder Man Jr.
All right.
All I can do is charge.
Jesus. Charge, yeah, that's basically right.
Does
Yeah.
he have any body armor resistance
I
or
think
anything?
he's got at least excellent or something.
That's nothing. I mean, he can,
Nothing.
Wolverine can't beat him, he can beat Wolverine, who can only do excellent damage with his claws.
Right.
Nice.
He has amazing
Yeah, it's
protection
just-
from physical and energy attack. Actually,
That's not too
amazing
bad.
protection. That's 50 points.
He could go toe to toe with Colossus.
Yeah, actually could win.
So
Or old school Colossus anyway.
yeah. Okay. Well, they clean up the Statue of Liberty. Everybody loves them. And my note here says they get all the perks of the babyface push, wrestling term. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Everybody loves them. They got merch. Everybody loves their gimmick. They give them the rub from the established heroes. Spider-Man's like, well, shit, now, I guess, yeah. Hey, Mel, welcome back or whatever. I'm glad that they're here. And then y'all's favorite team, the freaking New Warriors, get the shout here. I'm like, dang, man. I'm like, oh my God. I got my New Warriors questions all readied up for bags when I get up there because I'm all fired up. But there's a line in here that you could easily have gotten skipped over because I don't know the New Warriors characters. And the dude was like, man, why don't we get TV press like this? And remember when they do get that TV, yeah, but when they do get that TV press, that's what leads to freaking Civil War when they freaking help that neighborhood get blown up.
Yeah, reality show. Nothing good has ever
Yeah.
come from a reality show.
Amen.
That's fair too. But yeah, they really kind of, I was like, oh shit, that's kind of weird because what was that, 10 years later probably?
Claremont storytelling.
Long-term booking.
Serious forecast.
Long-term booking.
Yeah. We could use the help is basically what they do. And so so they go and everybody loves them, they're getting that big push. And then we get to the final page and the reveal.
Well, they also talked to Black Widow, who
oh yeah, that's right. My note. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she's not exactly the glowing, but she's just in her feels. Everybody who didn't get to sacrifice boldly is in their feels. So
well, yeah. I was gonna say, can we talk about how she didn't make the cut? Like, oh yeah, by the way, you're not important enough to make it to Heroes Reborn. So sorry, bitch. Yeah, you didn't make it. Yeah. And it's so funny that it was like, Spider-Man, yeah, we don't need you to be rebooted. We're good. No, we just need the rest of these sorry 90 heroes. That's time to get rebooted.
If we let you get rebooted, we might lose the movie rights or something. Oh wait.
Yes, yeah. Like you people suck. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Hush, you can pull that down for a second. But yeah, so we get the reveal and it's Baron Zemo, y'all. I mean, again, we're spoiling a book that's 18 years old, something like that at this point. Yeah, so like, come on. So it's Baron Zemo, he's got his jacked up face. It's all been a ruse, y'all. And then we get the heroes all the way across, the Fixer from Dayton, Ohio, allegedly, screaming Mimi, Goliath, Moonstar. And it's muhaha, it's twisty freaking mustache moment. And then that was it. Now, I do remember from back in 19 whatever, I did not know anything about the reveal, and it was like, oh shit, like I do remember that, and I'm sure I still have that book somewhere in my long boxes somewhere. But looking back at it, it's still like a bunch of scrubs.
The only thing I knew about the Fixer and the Beetle is from the original Marvel Superheroes box game. They were like the out of the box villains. They were not great.
Right. It
was like them and Radioactive Man, who was like unstoppable.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. Maybe Doc Ock was the other one.
Doc Ock, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of ranks,
Right.
and now outside of this, because I've obviously read it twice, a couple of times for the show. Outside of this, I do not remember many books about the Thunderbolts until Hawkeye becomes the leader. Like once that happens, I remember that book. One, the push for Hawkeye was amazing, and then two, like since they had an established leader, it started to get a little bit better. I thought the book, but the fact that, according to Wikipedia, between its various runs, that this has like 170 some odd or 140 some odd books.
Yeah.
I know I ain't got that many. Guaranteed. I ain't got no more than 25 of them. I can't imagine I have more than that.
I might have 10, or I did have 10 or something.
Oh
yeah, I mean, I remember this team from I read more of this when it came out than I did later, but I think their history, they've turned over quite a lot in the same way kind of the Masters of Evil have. So
and the Avengers.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess this is a classic lineup, but there's a whole gang of people who've been Thunderbolts by now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
They got reborn several times too.
Yeah. I mean, if you read the Wikipedia page, it's just like a bunch of people, and then they got rid of, once it got to a point, then they were like, hey, let's reboot it. And it lasted like 6 issues, and they were like, ooh, it's like it. You know what it reminds me of? Fucking Alpha Flight.
Oof.
Wait a minute, that's horrible, but maybe true.
It's also true because this initial run, people were into it, and then any subsequent reboots or retries after a certain point, it was just never going to work. I know Brother Beavis and I had a 90s Alpha Flight reboot situation that was like, oh yeah, man, they're rebooting Alpha Flight, and then we realized that it sucked. Like, oh shit! And then on this podcast, we realized that Alpha Flight sucked.
But wait a minute, everybody was turning over though. The Avengers, the Fantastic Four. Man, there was a She thing and a real thing got Rocky. I mean, it's all kind of reboots and shit.
Yeah. 90s wasn't a great time, y'all. If you weren't an X-Men book, it wasn't a great time. So
they had 3 teams, so fuck.
I mean, I don't know.
It's just there was multiple books for anyone that was selling. Like if anything sold, they would just jam it down your throat.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
With alternate covers.
Yes.
And foil.
And then, and the end of the book is the Takamika Nochu lady. She gets a little. She's get a reveal there at the end, and she's gonna turn in. I think it was a Jolt.
Yeah.
I think that's her character name. Yeah.
I mean, why did they not end on the page? Why didn't they not make like a full page with that's like the afterbirth at the
damn, that's what a
wrestling term. Fuck
Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that's just it's just it was. I mean, again, as a book that's just an introduction to this era again, like, oh, okay, again, I've read ahead obviously a little bit, but it's still kind of like, man, there's a lot of ranks in here.
Well, the other thing too is like there's like 3 distinct fights in this book. Like they have the initial conflict, and they have them again, and then they get it with
Rat Packs, and
Rat Pack, and the Wrecking Crew. It's like, wow, that's you typically don't get that in a modern book. So
yeah. But they are also, again, this is building up the baby face. You got to keep feeding them scrubs. And then, you get to the, the best scrub, the best freaking 605, wrestler. You've beaten Rocky King. You started with the Mulkeys. You get the chance to get the Rocky King. And then,
the Armstrongs?
Maybe you get, this is the Wrecking Crew is the Brad Armstrong of 605 wrestling. Yes. Like good enough to show, but you definitely see in the lights at the end in 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's a good call. So, but yeah, so we'll go through this book for a little bit here for this particular season. Today was just the premiere episode. We're gonna tackle on a couple of them at a time because this first book is kind of a 2-shit book, as we say on this show. The other ones, not so much. You can get through them fairly quickly. Mr. Busick, the great writer, I mean, he is, I'm not gonna, say anything bad about him or whatever, but, some of these
how many books was he writing around this time? Do you know?
He had to be on a couple of other ones. But off the top of my head, I don't know. And then his, he's more of a book writer now as opposed to a comic book writer, And I think coming out of Heroes Reborn, I think he gets Iron Man, I believe, coming out of Heroes Reborn, after when they get back, or does he get Fantastic Four? He gets one of those books.
There are plenty of spaces available.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to do everything they could at that particular time. It just, how do you remember your Heroes Reborn like at all? I mean, you weren't on the pod, but do you remember those books at all? Could you think of any story from Heroes Reborn that resonated with you as a story?
Nope, not officially.
Yeah. We prophesized that awful picture from Rob Liefeld with Captain America with a 44 triple D chest. That was bad too. But also, the side profile thing where he's all blowed up his chest. That's just the quintessential awfulness of freaking Rob Liefeld.
Right. I mean, you bought me those books.
I did?
Yeah. They're somewhere. Right.
Yeah, I'm surprised you beat my ass.
Right. They tried to make the Hulk and Iron Man and Mr. Fantastic. They were some type of group of smart people.
You burying me. You burying me. I don't even remember that shit. And again, I would swear that they're in my long boxes somewhere, but I wouldn't put any like real money or thoughts on it. I could have been like, okay, anymore. I just can't do this anymore. I just got rid of. There's a strong possibility that that's the case as well. Okay. All right. So that concludes episode 1. Before we wrap up, how up to date are we on the She-Hulk? And we can do that at the end. I'm up to date.
I watched the one today as well.
No She-Hulk?
None.
Wow. We'll do this anyways. So, man, you can find this podcast, SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, on the YouTube page. Look for @Brothers Comics. It'll be there. And as the X-Men animated music starts to play us out, I'm the producer of this podcast. I'm signing off. Brother Beavis, go ahead and sign off.
See you next time.
Great. Hodge, sign off. Beavis.
Make my Red Hulk.
Oh, hey, now, come on. All right, we'll see you on the other side. Peace. And pause. Hodge. Oh, you haven't watched it. Hey, how you guys doing? It's producer from Brothers Comics. Hey, look at my shirt. It's green, y'all. I'm green with envy. We're gonna review the first 2 episodes of She-Hulk on Disney Plus. Got the crew tonight, man. It's Brother Beavis. What's happening, bro?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
And we got Big Hutch, the non-watcher here, but also the collector of more She-Hulk books. The collector of more She-Hulk books than any of us put together.
Wait a minute. I don't think I might have had 1 or 2.
Come on. No,
I didn't have no She-Hulk books.
I'm calling Cap, as the kids say. That's Cap.
I had no She-Hulk
books
that I can remember.
Bro. Yeah, you had more than me, which would have been 0.
I might have had 2 because
Beavis,
Burns drew it maybe for a second or something.
Unless there was a crossover with something else I collected. I don't believe that I have any She-Hulk books. But if it was a crossover, I almost certainly bought it.
So She-Hulk got a big run there, in the Marvel thing when she got on the Fantastic Four, and then she gets a solo book, which I think was also drawn by John Byrne. So they put a legitimate artist / writer on the book to give her this push. So when they announced that this show is being made, it's kind of been this weird bit. And you guys aren't on social media. The announcement of Tatiana Maslany, who is 4'10", 95 pounds, soaking wet, maybe. It was like, what in the world? Why didn't you cast, some like bowed up, some bowed up actress, that probably can't act, but at least would look the role, kind of in a Lou Ferrigno kind of, transformation type situation. But that's not what they did. They went with this kind of this CGI version. And then before it came out, Brother Beavis, people were just killing the CGI about how it looked. I pay attention to that stuff, but I don't. I'm not sure how you feel about it.
So I didn't get too worked up about the pre stuff. Watching it now, it's she definitely looks like Shrek more often than not. Definitely has a Shrek-esque character, but I was like kind of trying to pay attention to it today, and there was one scene where they had like a close up, and there's actually a lot of detail in the rendering of her face, but I think the problem is you put her next to Mark Ruffalo, who at this point his Hulk has like the beard and the wrinkles, and he has a lot of character to his face, whereas she's got a very smooth face, and so she always comes out looking undercooked, and he always looks great. So it's rough.
Yeah, it is.
And it doesn't always feel like people are looking at the right spot. I don't think they've mastered that part of it yet, which seems like that shouldn't be a budget constraint, but
no, I think it's probably I don't know. So when you get to the pilot episode here, there's a lot of like kind of reveals that non-comic book readers might not catch, but the opening scene of that, Bruce and his cousin Jennifer are driving down the road, and there's a ship that was, I think it's definitely leading to a Planet Hulk type situation, especially after episode 2 today. They crash, and his blood gets into her blood, and she winds up being able to turn into the Hulk, or She-Hulk, and then she's able to control it like with her emotions. And we really get a whole episode of a training montage like Rocky, about how she's supposed to be a Hulk, and her differences from being like a woman as opposed to being a man. And there's some great points made in this particular bit about that, but that's really what we got, Hutch. Or it was just it's a training montage. This is how you throw rocks, this is how you fight, them fighting against one another. And it was probably unnecessarily jokey, and like I know how people kind of get weird about the Marvel joke sometimes, but it was probably unnecessary in certain parts. What'd you think, Brother Beavis?
Yeah,
it was tone.
It was odd, because this is another show that isn't strictly made for us, and so there's a lot of the jokiness, and then the single girl power, and then just what it's like to be a woman in a man's world, all kind of woven together. And so it was odd. The whole Captain America bit was like, come on, does this have to be as featured as it is? So yeah, the larger problem I had with it was, for the first episode, it was very much a Hulk. To me, it was more of a Hulk show featuring his wacky cousin.
Right.
It was almost like too much of him in order to start her series. That was like the main thing that hit me in this first one.
Well, and I do like the idea that, okay, so she can control this like immediately. It would give that the contrast his beginnings as being the Hulk. Like, she's completely under control. She can turn whenever she wants to. Like, it's just completely under her control because she's in better control of her emotions than Bruce was when he first became the Hulk. So I did like that contrast. But yes, it was just a training montage, and to me, that was probably the one of the two. Like, that was the episode I was just like, when you're outside and you have a character that's green against a blue background, like, it does look fake. Like, it looks really, really fake. And I don't know if that's CGI or budget, or I'm not really sure. I saw some behind the scenes thing, and they're running that Obi-Wan, like how Obi-Wan got made thing on Disney Plus here in a couple of weeks. But you know how they used to do everything on green screens and just put the backgrounds in there and everything was computer generated. But now they've gotten these things where they're like a let's call it a panoramic of something that was like a green screen, but it's an actual screen. Like, we took this picture outside of the Mojave Desert in a panoramic type thing, and they'll use that as the background against it, as opposed to just generating it computer wise. And a lot of Obi-Wan was filmed that way. We went to the location and filmed the stuff that we were going to need, and then just use that as a layer on the background. And so that's what this feels like. You're putting a green character on the back of a real background, and it makes it look kind of goofy and weird. So yeah, it's different. I couldn't be, but again, if you listen to the previous podcast, we talked about Buck Rogers, 1980 something. Biggie, my nigga. Like you, some people need to shut the fuck up. It could be so much worse. Like, I mean, think about the original Hulk television show.
Yeah.
Strip some pants. Like, come on. Like you judging on the curve here.
Well,
So,
I think it is important to have like, to have her different. Like, she doesn't go through the same rage. She doesn't go through the same transformation. She doesn't have the same feeling about being a hero. She doesn't have the self-loathing, the personality conflict. So it is important to make her as distinct as possible from him, so that this isn't just, a reskinned Hulk with it literally,
yeah.
Hulk
I
boobs.
agree. Yes. I mean, and again, I've said before we started this, there's be no Tatiana Maslany slander on this podcast. I mean, her stuff as Jennifer Walters, she's just so fucking likable. I mean, it's just, that's basically what it is. She is, and then when she transforms, it's, you can still see that person is in there. And then when they do this making of, I'm kind of like curious as to how this happened, but it's fun. But yeah, so episode 1 ends with a freaking tag about Captain America's virginity. Hutch, if you didn't know, Cap did get that ass back in the day. He didn't go on ice without, getting his dick wet. If you needed it.
It has not been identified, but
Yeah.
The who is still in question.
I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a bit in Civil War, right? The Civil War or Winter Soldier where he's like that, where he kissed Natasha. He's like, you're not the first person I've kissed since 40, whatever. So at some point in time when he came out of the ice, before all this shit went down, had to be some SHIELD agent that was like, hey, trying to fuck. Okay.
Well,
but anyway.
he almost got he got hit on by
The Wasp.
Loris Tyrell. So what's Marjorie Tyrell?
Oh yeah.
The first Avenger.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You left off. Did you skip the Titania piece?
I'm getting there.
All right.
I'm getting there. Yeah. So
all right.
At the end of episode 1 is like we get a court scene and she's been trying this case, and we get Titania. She comes in, bursts into the courtroom in an outfit that I would say that is
not
unfortunate.
Comic book accurate.
Yeah, not comic book accurate. Yes, for sure. That is putting it. She is not all blowed up like Titania is in the comic books as well in all areas. But peeling ahead, like she is a social influencer villain essentially. So tied completely, tied completely into modern kind of world here. And then she tries to attack people in the courtroom. She-Hulk hulks up and beats her ass, and then everybody's like, oh, who the hell is She-Hulk? And then that's the end of episode 1.
At this point I was thinking, well, they didn't spend the budget on the fighting choreography.
Yeah. Was it just like one kick?
She had this clown flying kick and then got knocked the fuck out. So
yeah,
that was the fight.
Yeah. And again, we talked about this before. Like I think there is another villain coming here soon, but who knows? All right. So that's episode 1. Yeah. And it was like, the Steve Rogers fuck, and then credits. That was great. Yeah. All right, so episode 2, which premiered, I guess today, if we're on the recording schedule. Yeah, episode 2. So where do you go from here? So hey, she gets fired from her job for hulking up, from her law firm. That wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work for them. Like, hey, you did a great job. There's a great bit in there.
That was like a government job because she worked for the DA's office,
DA,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She should wrongful terminate, right? Wrongful termination suit right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Take the city for whatever they got.
Got it. Yeah. And then there's a great bit in there where she gets fired, like when the dude comes over, because as the Hulk, she can't get drunk. And so she's just pounding drinks with her paralegal friend. And then he's like, yeah, I need to talk to you as Jennifer. He's like, oh, okay. And then she's fucking hammered. She's like falling off the chair, hammered when she gets fired. And so after that, she's been, blackballed, greenballed. I don't know.
Red ball.
She can't get a job anywhere because of what happened. People don't want to hire the She-Hulk as a distraction. And then ultimately the company that she was, or the people that she was doing the trial with when she got fired, want to hire her for their special division of lawyering for villains. Yeah, well, no, for villains, they're gonna hire them for villains. There's also a bit where she goes and sees her family, that they like, this isn't the first time we've had to deal with a Hulk in this family, or a Hulk doing something messed up. Is the father the dude from her father? Is I couldn't fully see it. Is that what was that damn show? Oh my god, our mom loved this show. Was it Perfect Strangers? There's the Russian dude, but then there was this cousin.
My Lord.
That's a possibility.
I'm pretty sure that's him. Like, I
Jeez.
couldn't remember.
He's still
Balky,
alive?
and then whatever. Yeah, his bulk was the cousin.
Balky, or
that
something?
was the cousin. Yeah.
Of
But
course,
then there
right,
was
of course. And then
the
there's
the straight man for that particular show.
Straight, yeah.
God, our mother loved that show. And like, yeah, so they go see that, and she has whatever relationship with her dad, which seems to be okay. But she gets hired for this thing, and then the dude's like, yeah,
you called
I
it.
need you to be the I did.
Yep.
You talk about my collection of rum. Remembering that is worse.
There goes a child's birthday.
Right.
Yeah, there goes a good memory somewhere. Run out of gas tomorrow because I forgot to fill the tank up. So yeah, they so yeah, he's like, come on, Hodge. So it's like, yeah, I need you to be She-Hulk like all the time. Like, what? She's like confused by this. She's like, no, if you're not She-Hulk and you ain't getting this job, then you have to be She-Hulk all the time. So she has to transform into She-Hulk at the job. And she didn't know that when she accepted the job. She didn't know. She didn't know that was the case when she took the job.
For her looks.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Discrimination.
Yeah, so she gets a nice corner office this is in Los Angeles. I was watching this with Walma, and she was just like, what's that? Like, I thought it was New York. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's not New York.
It's California. It's her base.
Yeah, and which is kind of weird because they haven't established California as a place where there would be supervillains.
Well, she drove back from Mexico, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, they haven't established anything really essentially out of the New York metropolitan area.
Old boy said it best. Phase 4 is a bit of mess in 5.
Yeah. Well, actually, there's a bit in there, and I don't know if you saw it online. When she's looking for a new job, there's a little, like, kind of a freeze frame on a website there. The first freeze frame of the articles there, like other articles, man with claw fights in local bar.
Mm-hmm.
So firmly establishing Wolverine there, and I think the next one was something. Yeah. And then the next one was like, about like a robot monster in the bottom of the ocean or something like that, which obviously establishes the stuff from the Eternals. So, like, I mean, it's all kind of sort of tying together here. But before she takes that job, or when she does go for that job, they're like, our first client is Emil Blonsky, the Abomination. And, he wants you to represent him. And she's like, I can't do that. It's a conflict of interest. He tried to kill my cousin, tried to kill my cousin.
Say words,
like, I can't do it. Yeah, exactly. And so she's like, I can't do that. He's like, well, you don't do this, you ain't got no job. And she's like, oh shit, I gotta go. So she goes to meet him. Yeah, it gets referenced. And what was, do we know the facility that would have been, Brother Beavis? Like, I'm like,
oh, so that was the Department of Damage Control that has a DODC logo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So she goes and sees him, and he's a reformed man. Namaste. I'm not doing those things anymore. I got like,
this is great.
Yeah, I got prison. Yeah, Tim Roth is great in this bit. Like, he's got, I got prison pen pals,
like, my 7 friends.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's so good in this. And she's like, you know what? Oh, okay. He gives the story like, I got screwed over, man. The government, gave me that super soldier serum and turned me into this freaking monster. And I was working for them. So,
He's right.
yeah, it's like that's my defense. So okay. So she calls Bruce and he's like, yeah, you should take the case, if that's what you need to do, whatever, he's like, he's written me a letter too, that he's changed
with
and all this stuff.
with a haiku.
Yeah, with a haiku, yeah. And she's like, all right. And he's like, so what are you doing? He's like, I'm taking care of something. And he's on like this ship and it shoots out into space. I mean, again, it's kind of weird though, because because it seems like they're giving us Planet Hulk, but they kind of already gave us Planet Hulk and Ragnarok. Like they kind of gave it to us already. So unless he's going to come back as uncontrollable Hulk that needs to get put down, and I just don't think that's where they're going with that character.
Planet Hulk is not a let's go have wacky fun time with the Games Master on Planet Zakar.
No, not at all. So it's kind of weird that that's kind of where they are going, but it definitely seems like that's what it is. So she takes the case, like, all right, we're about to get this, taken care of, and then the boss of the law firm, and it's like, yeah, so okay, that's great. You might want to turn the news on. It's like, wait, what? It's like, oh yeah, the Abomination was caught fighting in some secret, fight club or whatever. Yeah, and what was the scene from what's that?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi, yeah. And she's like, oh, shit. And then that's the end of episode 2. I mean, very light, very Hawkeye-esque in terms of the tone, but probably not. I mean, yeah, it's very Hawkeye-esque in terms of the tone, but fits completely with what the character is. She breaks the third wall when she talks to the camera, which happened fourth wall, and which happens in the comic book, right, Hutch?
Yeah.
Because I would only know that because you had those comic books.
Well, I don't see. Quit slipping that in there. She was in the Fantastic Four,
but she didn't break the wall then.
She didn't break the wall then.
That's a solo book thing.
Maybe I had 1 or 2 of them books, but I don't say I had. Oh, we had a whole collection of them. Don't put that on me. I'll take Rom.
Dazzler also, sir. And Dazzler. And also Dazzler.
Fuck you. I had Dazzler too.
And that's it. I mean, those are the first 2 episodes. Again, I have no problem with this. Like, I have no issue with it. I mean, again, could the CGI be? What could CGI be better? Okay, great, whatever. But this fits the character. Like, I know people, currently, I think, at least in the Avengers that we read probably a year or 2 ago, she was Savage Hulk. Like, she couldn't control herself or whatever. But the Hulk that we know from all the comic books Hutch had, she was well within her, she was well within her faculty. She knew, whatever. And she was She-Hulk all the time. She never changed into Jennifer Walters at a point. I don't know if she couldn't or she just made the decision that she was going to be She-Hulk all the time, but that's where it was.
But the She-Hulk is a C- D+ Marvel character. Whatever happens. I mean, what's it matter?
I mean, when I was over at your guys' house reading all of She-Hulk books, it seemed like she was just more comfortable with the dual identity.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, very much so. Yes, I agree on all points. And there was a bit in there too about, where they were calling her She-Hulk, how she got the name. She's like, I'm just some derivative of the Hulk. And the lady is like, the Hulk's a terrible name too. What are you worried about it? Hulk, She-Hulk, Hulk girl, whatever. Like that's a terrible name too. So I mean, like, the fact that it can make fun of itself. And again, I know I'm freaking on her dick or whatever, but that's Tatiana Maslany. Like, she can live in that world of playing that particular character like all day. Like, that's just, that's the actress that she is. So, but yeah, I'm thumbs up on it. Am I waking up at 3 a.m. to go watch it like I did with, Winter Soldier and all that shit before it gets spoiled? No, not at all. No, I could care less. Like, I didn't watch it today until 6, 7 o'clock. Like, I'm perfectly okay with that. But beyond that, what's gonna happen? Wrecking Crew, Titania. I mean, are we
Frogman.
really?
Well,
Yeah,
I
are we
mean,
really? We're looking for a big comic book fight battle here that's going to set the stage for something. Nope.
we're
not at
sure
all.
the Daredevil's gonna be in there, right?
Daredevil's definitely going to make it. I mean,
So that's
the show is She-Hulk Attorney at Law
right.
as
So
the
I
tag.
mean, that's pretty much playing everything out.
And it would it surprise me if some of our other Netflix street level heroes make an appearance in this, which would only be primarily Jessica Jones, which I don't think they recast, and Luke Cage, which I think they were pretty happy, kind of, sort of, with, maybe, possibly.
I thought they
Jessica
recast
Jones
him
would
too.
make a lot of sense. Luke,
Yeah.
so they originally, I think Mike Coulter originally dropped out because he was like, if you're gonna recast Iron Fist, you should just recast both because otherwise it's gonna be weird. But I think part of that too is he's had that show Evil, right, or whatever,
Yeah, he's
for
on
a
Evil.
while.
Yeah,
So
like a procedural. Yeah.
so
Wow.
he's got stuff.
He's
so.
working.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it's a perfect opportunity for them to introduce some of those level. If you're gonna bring Daredevil in, I know he's getting his own freaking 26 episode show or whatever the fuck it is. Like, I understand that, but
2030. When was that coming out?
I think fairly soon at this point.
They
But
better be filming it now.
So, but yeah, like, to me, thumbs up on the She-Hulk. I have no problems with it. I don't know what people was looking for, and this is an internet thing too, brother Beavers. People like with this faux outrage that they're mad that the She-Hulk is not what they expected. Like,
What did you
anybody
expect?
give a damn about the She-Hulk before? Like, come on, man, y'all are being ridiculous.
Right. At this point, at this point, all the people they're bringing out, you can't have too much expectations on any of these characters because these characters, their comic book runs were, at best, maybe 2 or 3 years at best. These characters don't have enough established anything to be getting to catching feelings about them.
It feels like, and I think Brother Beavers and I talked about this on a different podcast, it feels like we're building up a storage of heroes for when we get to Secret Wars, that we can have a storage of heroes to deal with. Yes, we had a whole bunch of them in Infinity War and Endgame, like we did, but I think they're looking for more in that regard.
Well, they also got to get enough people so that they don't have to pay people billions of dollars to play the role anymore. It's like, oh, we'll just put War Machine on the team.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Ironheart. Ironheart is up next, then Black Panther. Like, there's our new Iron person. Yeah. Like, I get that.
Diversity cover. It covers diversity.
Yeah.
Right. It covers no one should give that much.
Like,
or whatever. Oh, to get hurt about. Oh, they don't. She-Hulk should be better than this, or
She-Hulk was my favorite character. Y'all ruining She-Hulk. Shut the hell up. You ain't give a damn about She-Hulk.
Right.
Come on, man.
Officially, I care more about the boy than some of these characters.
Yeah, agreed. Okay. So that's it, y'all. So that's our She-Hulk recap. Again, we'll come back to it. We're not doing weekly episodes on this one. We'll just kind of catch up to it when we can. It's not because it's not. I mean, it's not.
I hear you. Yeah, you know my
stand.
It's
not tied into anything that we're freaking, overall, like, oh shit. And then when they did that, it's just a procedural at this point. It's a show that's on every week that has characters that we are known and familiar with. That's pretty much it. So, but all right, y'all. Again, find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Rate, review, subscribe. We'll see y'all a couple of weeks. All right. I'm the producer. I'm signing off. Peace. Brother Beavis, sign off.
Later. See you next time.